The United States of America is on, in some ways, what could be considered a self-destructive path regarding its interfacing with Muslim terrorists or pseudo-Muslim terrorists. In other words, the Obama administration has sort of at points warmly embraced the Muslim Brotherhood, even though the history of the Muslim Brotherhood is unquestionably terrorist. The writings of the key theologians of the Muslim Brotherhood are part of the fountain of modern-day Islamic terrorism, as those theologians have reached back into Muhammad's life and the lives of his early associates. James Clapper, the head of U.S. intelligence, the director of U.S. intelligence, recently spoke before the Council of Foreign Relations. We're going to play a clip from that speech, and I'm going to speak bluntly to you. Watch.
So there are some portion of the oppositions who are regarded as moderate. Moderate these days is increasingly becoming anyone who's not affiliated with ISIL. And so we're attempting to engage with them, and that's the whole point of the train and equip proposal project that the Department of Defense is gearing up for, is to vet, recruit, and train and equip oppositions in sufficient size and capability to actually make a military difference. And so one of our challenges is, again, the recruiting and vetting part. And so we pick people that not only are moderate, whatever that is, but also we have to be sensitive to complying with the rules of international rules of law, which in this environment is a pretty tough order.
Did you see that? Moderate, whatever that is, 2 times using the air quotes. He's actually covering himself at that point. Do you understand that? He's admitting that they don't even know what a moderate Muslim extremist, terrorist, moderate looks like. All that they require now is that they're not affiliated with ISIL, Islamic State. That's it. Now, there was later on some discussion about the fact that they have to also say that they're not affiliated with Al-Qaeda, all right? Or that they somehow make a public declaration that they've separated themselves from Al-Qaeda. Now, that requires that they, A, send back their Al-Qaeda library card, B, that they pay any overdue library charges for the hadith that they may have kept from Al-Qaeda, and that they either pay for or send back the Al-Qaeda terrorist training manuals. All right? That's how they would show that they're no longer affiliated with Al-Qaeda and that they have become moderates, whatever that is. Why don't we just arm the Christians that are there? We're doing airdrops all the time, right? We sent in food to some of those refugees that were hiding up on the mountaintop. Why didn't we drop handguns? Why didn't we drop small arms? Why not? If these poor Christians are going to be slaughtered anyway, I mean, I'm not trying to be rude or crude when I say this. Let's say that you and your family and your friends were holed up and you just couldn't get out, and ISIS is coming. What would you want? To have your children taken and put in cages, and you told, convert to Islam, deny your faith, or we're going to kill you in front of your kids, and then we're going to burn your children in these cages. Do you want to go that way? Or do you want to go taking out some of them, a hail of gunfire, taking out some of the people who are trying to murder you, and die honorably, fighting, not dying on your knees? Arm the Christians, President Obama. ISIL has all the weapons they need. They're capturing weapons left and right, because they're going to say, well, we don't know if these arms won't get in their hands. They seem to have all the arms they need. The Iraqi soldiers that you train keep throwing them down because they don't want to shoot at their fellow Muslims, because it's against Sharia law. It's against the traditions of the Prophet to help us infidels, us kafir, us apostates to the Muslim faith. Or that's what, actually, I apologize. That's what those Muslims would be considered who are helping to fight ISIS. They're considered apostates by ISIS. Why not arm the Christians? Well, we're not on the ground. Yeah, that's what Clapper says is the problem. Roll that next segment, please.
So this is a very, very complex situation in Syria, compounded by the fact that we're actually not there, which is very different than the situation we have in Iraq, where we are there. And so from an intelligence perspective and for our ability to exert leverage and influence is much, much easier in Iraq than it is in Syria. That's a long-winded answer to your question, but it's a tough one.
So here we see that the director of U.S. intelligence, who is clearly displaying the lack of intelligence of the Obama administration, they're admitting, look, we don't know what a moderate looks like. We're not on the ground in Syria. We're not really sure how we're going to train them. We've decided we're going to arm them. We're still not sure who they are, but they just have to say that they're not part of ISIL and that they're not a part of Al-Qaeda. That's kind of a secondary issue. But it's a lot easier in Iraq where we're on the ground. Well, this leads me to two things. Get on the ground and arm the Christians. Just arm them. You might remember that President Reagan at different points armed various freedom fighters. Do you remember that? That was a part of Reagan's doctrine to stop Russian aggression, the spread of communism. What's the name of that movie that Tom Hanks was in with Julia Roberts about the Texas congressman? Charlie Wilson's War. That was a true story, by the way. That was a true story. And what they decided to do was to arm the Muslims of Afghanistan to fight for themselves against the communists. Now, tragically, a lot of the people that were armed and trained in Afghanistan ultimately turned on us. Lesson Obama about arming these moderate Syrian terrorists to bring down Assad, the leader of Syria. These idiots in our State Department. I digress. Learn the lesson of Afghanistan. Don't arm the Syrian rebels. Arm the Christians of Syria. Arm the Christians of Iraq. Well, they don't know how to use the weapons. Well, send a manual, okay? They're living in a war-torn region with a lot of light arms, a lot of aggressive weapons. I imagine that they can figure it out pretty quickly. Arm the Christians of the Levant. Arm the Christians. Let them fight for themselves. Let them at least kill of the few people that are coming to try and kill them and their family. I again put it to you. What would you rather have? I've got something really important I need to talk about with you when I come back, but I just want to say for the record, James Clapper is the same man who said that the Muslim Brotherhood was a secular organization. You can't buy that kind of stupid.
Hey, everyone's been asking me, when's Unstoppable coming out on DVD? Well, it's here. And I have created my own deluxe signature version of Unstoppable that contains not only the movie, but over 5 hours of additional curriculum and study guides for your family. It's perfect for your homeschool, educational facility, small group Bible study, and family devotions. And I'm going to share with you some of the spiritual warfare that surrounded the release of this film. This box set also includes extended scenes, new music videos, the inside scoop on the whole Facebook controversy. So what are you waiting for? I made this special version with my family in mind, and I know your family will be blessed by it too. Unstoppable 2.0 Deluxe Signature Version. Available only here at KurtCameron.com. I can't wait for you to experience what's inside.